All right, so my name is Derek, and this is Josh. This is Helena, and today we're going to be teaching the first lesson of Intro to CAD and 3D printing.
Welcome to our first class. Please follow along with the demo on the screen, and since this is a video recording, feel free to pause at any point and rewind if you are ever confused.
So as a brief overview of the class, we're going to be doing some fun activities throughout each class, and through these activities, we're going to be learning a lot more about 3D design and 3D printing. And then by the end, we'll be able to design and print something out like physically. So lesson 1 today, we're just going to be doing an intro. Lesson 2, we're going to do some more sketching and designing. Lesson 3, we're actually going to make our designs, print them out. And then 4, we're going to have a free workshop that you guys can use your skills you learned.
The free workshop is basically where you guys can come in and then you can tell us what you want to make, and then we'll guide you on how to make that, and then we'll print it for you, and then you come back and grab it.
So what is CAD? I'm sure a lot of you are wondering. So CAD stands for Computer Aided Design. It's a way for you to communicate with computers and bring design or something like an idea into a 3D part. So it assists us as a robotics team in engineering when we have an idea and want to sketch it up and make it into something that we might see in person, something 3D. So CAD is a great way for 3D printing, as you said. It's also a great way for other tools we use in robotics, such as CNC and laser cutting, and a lot more. So a couple of applications of CAD. So CAD is used everywhere in engineering. It's one of the key processes of design. So here you can see some of the CAD models that we've made as a robotics team previous years. You can see like the man in the middle. You can see a gearbox in the top right, and then some other miscellaneous parts. And then you can see how these individual designs help us imagine what things could be like, and it allows us to further progress through the design process, making measurements, making connections and stuff. So CAD is also used, again, for 3D printing. So here are some examples of 3D printing, some of the cooler examples, I would say. So we have a 3D printed Baby Yoda and Iron Man. And then a more useful application is 3D printing actual houses. So this is a full house, 3D printed using CAD and a 3D printer. And all you wondering, what is 3D printing? So 3D printing is basically making your 3D design that you made in CAD and making it physical. So 3D printers lay down these plastic sheets, or lay down a lot of layers of plastic, and then they create a model, a 3D model. And examples of this can be seen like everywhere, like in the previous slide, like custom arts, manufacturing, and even medicine is using 3D printing. So the program we're going to be using, a lot of you have signed up already, is OnShape. So OnShape we've used for many years. OnShape is a professional CAD software. It can be accessed anywhere. It's basically like the Google Docs of 3D design. It has basically all the same features as any other CAD software, and it's entirely free, which is great for people who want to learn. It allows you to, again, work on the same document with multiple people, like a Google Doc. And then it allows you to make 3D printing files, like STL files, which allows you to print it. And it also allows you to simulate the designs that you've made in real life, like adding physics and adding connections and different parts together.
So if you have not created an OnShape account yet, please follow the instructions on the screen and let us know through the dry ice email, dryiceftc@gmail.com, if you're having any troubles. Or you can also come early to the class or stay late after the class and ask for help.
All right, once you guys are in your OnShape account, can you go, I think it's in the top left, where it should say create. And then if you click that, and underneath it, a button that says document should pop up. And you can name it whatever you want. And then just click OK after. So next, we're going to talk a little about the features on our document. So what is our OnShape document? Okay, so as you can see, when you went in, it should have put you into a part studio that should look something like this, except there's nothing like actually is inside. And basically, when you're using OnShape, for the most part, you're going to be working in these Spark Studios, and they're going to allow you to create sketches and features, and then you can use like extrudes to bring them actually to life. And this is basically like the main part where you're going to be working in OnShape. And this is what your screen probably looks like right now. If it doesn't, then you can ask Elena or Josh for help. Alright, so in today's class, we're going to go over some of the most basic tools for OnShape, which is just sketching out like a 2D design version of what you want to draw. Okay, so some of the different tools that you'll be using generally, the most important one is dimension. And this, if you click D on your keyboard, it should turn your cursor into a cross. And this won't be useful to you right now, but for in the future, this dimension tool, it will allow you to create any line or point of a certain length, which is useful where you want to like actually design real products. And then constraints are basically just like setting your thing together and putting it in one place so that it doesn't move around or fall apart and it's actually the right size. And these will be really important for today. All right, so now we're going to do like a basic exercise of simulating what a sketch would be like, except on paper. So you guys should have your paper ready. So you can see the shape right here. So the black lines are the actual part that you're going to be printing out. And then the dotted lines would be like the boundaries and like the ruler for like telling you how big you want it to be. So all of you, can you try drawing this and having only the black part as the black lines as like the actual shape you want, and then the constrained lines or the dotted lines are like the support and the construction. Basically for building it, so just draw that on your paper. And then after this, we're going to do an actual one in OnShape version. All right, so just some basic things about OnShape. If you take 2 fingers on your trackpad and then you drag it around, it allows you to move the shape around. So take 2 fingers and drag it around on your trackpad while pressing down, and it should allow you to move the shape around.
A little note, using 2 fingers to drag the shape around may not work for everyone, depending on your computer. If you're using a Mac, it should be fine, but if you have a Windows, just use the right click with 1 finger and it should work. If not, you can also just search up online how to drag around the OnShape perspective, or you can just use the arrow keys.
All right, so now that everyone has done that, you can see, so if you move around, you can see how this plane at the top right here, it says front. And this is generally where you're going to start designing most of your things. So right now you're going to click on the word, this plane that says front. You see how it's selected in yellow now? So click on the plane that says front. And then after that, you see it on the top left, it says the word sketch. So you click on that button. Does everyone see like this little sketch thing at the top? And this underneath sketch 1, it should say front plane. Do you see that? Okay, so continuing on, I'm just going to show you guys some of the basic features. So as probably some of you have noticed, you see this little cube thing at the top, right? If you click on the different frames of it and the arrows allows you to spin it around. So play around with this cube until it shows front, and then when you click on the word front, it should give you a flat screen like this. Click on the square that says front on the little cube. Does everyone have that? Oh, just stay with him. Okay, so everyone else I think has that. So now we're just gonna show you a bit some of the really basic tools. So one of the most important tools is this. You see this where my cursor is? It's hovered over the word line. And it's like this little, like 2 circles of line in the middle. It should be in your top left. If you click on that, you can also click the letter L on your keyboard and it should also work. And now you see your cursors become like a little plus symbol. So now I want you to click on the plane. And then when you click somewhere and you click somewhere else, it should become a dark blue line. Make sure you're still on the front though. So make sure on the cube, front shows on the right. Okay, so going back to earlier where we talked about the dimension tool. So now click the letter, first click the escape key. It should say ESC on the, that's how you stop drawing lines basically. Everyone got that? So now you should be able to move your cursor around normally and there's a line in the middle. So now what we're gonna do is you're going to click the letter D on your keyboard and it should become plus. This is the dimension tool that we talked about earlier. So now you take the D with the cursor and then you click on this line and then you can like drag out this box. And it should show the number and that's the length of your line. So everyone click enter after you clicked again. And now you should have a dimension line. So now if you go over, you see this box, now you can click on it and you can adjust it. Right now it's at 114 millimeters. So I want everyone to go and type 20 and then click M twice. And you click enter and it becomes 20 millimeters. Okay, so now we're gonna show you another important feature because nobody's perfect. So let's say you draw another line. So everyone, you should know how to use the line tool. It's L or the button on the left and just draw another line. And then now you just click on the line again and then you click delete and it deletes the line. Everyone tried that and that works, right? Yeah, make sure the line, okay, so in OnShape, when you're hovering over something, like you can hover over these lines, they all turn yellow. And that's how you know when you actually hovered over it. And then you click once and then click backspace and it should delete it. All right, so now that we have this line, we're gonna teach you about another really important shape. So this is the center point circle. You see where my cursor is hovering, so click on this tool. And then basically this just creates a circle of whatever size you want at the point. So you can see my cursor, let's say I want a circle here. And if I drag it out, it becomes bigger and smaller. So you can click again to stop it at wherever you want. And then click escape again after to get out of that mode. Okay, so now we're gonna try the dimension tool again. So click D and then you can select the circle and drag it out. Yeah, you click on the edge to make sure the edge is highlighted yellow. Your computers are probably set in inches, so make sure to type mm at the end, or else you're gonna have massive things that you're not gonna be able to print. So after the end of every dimension, just write mm instead of inches. All right, so now we're gonna show you another shape. I'm just gonna delete these ones real quick. So another shape that's really important is this rectangle. It's called a corner rectangle in the top left. So click on this. This one works the same. Basically, you click one corner and then you drag it and you click the end of the other corner. And then you click escape again. So everyone draw a rectangle. And also another thing that's important to note, you see how the inside of the circle is like, inside of the rectangle is gray. That means that it's a full shape. So there's no holes. So you can actually print this. If it's not grayed out like this, that means that you left a hole and then the printer won't be able to print it. All right, so now this shape works a bit different than the other ones. So you can go onto, you see how there's 4 sides, you can dimension all 4 of them, but you only want to do one top side and one left or right side. So let's start with the left side. So you click on it, click D, click on it, and then you can choose it out. Let's say we make this one 25 mm. Make sure you have the mm. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we're going to dimension the top. So you see, click on the top one with your dimension tool and then drag it out. And then this one, let's set it to 40 mm. And then everyone should have a rectangle of this size. All right, the next tool that we're going to teach you how to use, construction line. All right, so we're going to teach you how to use a construction line. So basically, you see how these lines are blue and there's full. And unlike in the sketch that you drew, you saw there's dotted lines. So if you click onto, all right, so click the L key, and then you're gonna draw a line from this corner. You see how it's highlighted with the yellow box? So click a line from that corner and just drag it down. And the way to know that it's a straight line, you see how there's yellow dashes? If it's yellow dashed like that, that's how you know it's a straight line downwards. So now if you click again, you should have a line downwards. Okay, so now we're going to teach you how to make this into the dotted line. So what you're going to do, you have your cursor, make sure it's not a plus symbol. If it's a plus symbol, click escape. And if it's like this, you're going to hover over it and you're going to click it once so it highlights in orange or yellow. So everyone do that. And then after that, you're going to click the letter Q on your keyboard. All right, does everyone else have a rectangle that's dimensioned with a construction line that's coming downwards? So the thing with these construction lines is that when you have these lines, the 3D printer doesn't see them. They're basically invisible. So they're just to help you guide where you're drawing things. But when you actually print them, if you have all construction lines, nothing's going to print. So make sure you have the straight lines if you want to print something out. All right, so next we're going to teach you how to make these lines black. Let me just make sure. All right, so first, go to this corner again. So click that. And then now you're going to click the letter I. And this is another very important tool called the coincident. And basically, this just you take this point and you can connect it to anything. So let's say you have a rectangle and you want to connect it to a line. So you use the coincident tool, you click this dot, and then you click the line, and it'll merge them together, basically. So click on that box, and now you're going to hover over with the plus symbol. It should say, you should be an I, and then you hover over the middle line with the plus symbol. Does everyone see that? So now click the middle line right there, and then now you're going to click the dot again. So if you do that correctly, now you should see the top and bottom lines are now black. So this means that they can't be moved anymore. Unless you change dimensions, they're stuck in place. All right, so as you can see with these black lines, if you hover over your cursor over one of these blue ones and you take it, you click it, and then you drag, you can move the box around left and right only. But if you try and drag up and down, nothing happens. This is because they're black lines now, so they can't be moved. They can only move this way. You can't move them up and down anymore. You guys can try that out. All right, so now what you're gonna do is, hold on. I think that we're gonna teach you how to use another tool that's pretty important. So you see this that I'm hovering over it, it's called a 3-point arc. So this is something that allows you to basically make curves. So everyone click on that. And now you're going to go to the bottom of your rectangle and select, so you see how I'm hovered over the bottom left corner. So everyone take that and you click once. And you see how you can move around this curve now, and you're going to go over to the other corner on the right side and click again. Don't click anymore, only click twice. And once you have that, you're going to drag this curve downwards. And once you have it in a good spot, you just left click again. And then you should have a fully grayed out box with a rectangle and a half circle. All right, so I think that is basically most of the tools that you're going to need today. I think we'll teach you one extra one. So you see this button? It says text. So you do see that? It's like a letter A. You click on that. And now let's say you want to, so wherever you want your text, you click top left corner and then bottom right corner. And then a box like this should pop up. So now you can write in here whatever you want. Like, let's say I'll just write hello. And now you just click this. You see this green check mark? There's a lot of green check marks in OnShape. So click the check mark once you're done. And then there should be this that shows up. So I think that is all of the important tools for today. So now we're gonna do a follow along sketching. So now that you're done with sketch 1, click the green check mark. And if you have done that correctly, now you should have the gray box. And you see how the dotted lines on the edge of hello, they should not be black. They should not be grayed. Only the inside of hello is grayed out. So that's how you're gonna get it correctly. Does everyone have this screen? Okay, so since no one has any questions, we're just gonna go on. So now I'm going to walk you through on how to make something like this. Simple smiley. So what you're gonna do is go on the bottom. You see where my mouse is on that little plus mark in the corner. So click that again. And then from here, you see how button that says create part studio. So this is how you create a new part. And then once you do that, you click it and it should bring you into a brand new version. Everyone here? Yes? Okay. So now something that also works. Actually, no, it doesn't work here. Never mind. Okay, so just click on the front thing from the little cube in the top right. So everyone else is on the front screen, right? So now you're going to do the same thing as we did before. You click this and you click sketch. And now you should be in another sketch 1. Everyone good? Everyone else good? Okay, so now we're gonna start off the smiley face by first clicking on the center point circle like you learned earlier. So now you're gonna hover over, you see how it's a plus symbol again, right? You see this black dot in the middle? That's what we call the origin, and that's where most parts are created in OnShape. So once you highlight the origin in yellow like that, then you can click left, left click, and then you can just drag out your circle. So make it. So does everyone have like a grayed out circle that's directly in the middle of OnShape? Art Studio. Everyone good? So now you're going to use your dimension tool and you're going to dimension this circle to be, let's say, 80 mm. What you guys are going to notice about this special shape is that it's completely black. There's no blue lines whatsoever. So you can try and click on the edge and try and drag it, but nothing will happen because it's a black line that's centered, that's centered at the origin. So you physically cannot move it unless you change the dimension. And this is really useful when you make parts that you don't accidentally misclick and then break the entire thing. So everyone has this, right? So next, what you're going to do is you're going to take another center point circle, and it doesn't need to be perfect, but just place it somewhere at the left side of the screen, where like you would think an eyeball would go. Doesn't really matter because we're going to dimension it so that it's in the proper place. So right now it should just be a blue circle. It doesn't have any dimensions. It doesn't really matter where it is as long as it's somewhat in the circle. Everyone have one? All right, if you don't have one, just raise your hand. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna dimension the circle to, let's say, 15 mm. So I think you guys know how to do that by now. Just click D, select it, and dimension it. You good? It doesn't matter where the circle is right now because we're gonna dimension it so that it's in the right spot anyways. What? 15 mm. Everyone good? Okay, so now what we're gonna do is you're going to, you see the middle of the circle, there's this little point. So if you hover over it with your cursor, make sure it's not a plus sign. If it's a plus sign, click the escape key. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna click that. Well, don't click, actually no, don't click it yet. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna click the line button. So it should click L on your keyboard. And it should still be hovering over the dot, and now click once. And basically you're just drawing a line from this circle until you see how this is like a right angle with yellow dashes on the top to bottom and left to right, and it's connected to the origin. You see that? And if it looks like this, you know that you have a straight line that's connecting directly to the middle. Does everyone have a circle in the top left? Doesn't really matter where, and then you have a line from the middle of the circle to the origin center. I'll make sure that. Okay, so now I'm going to show you some like really nice quality of life features. So if you take 2 fingers and you scroll like this, you should be able to zoom in and out of your circle. And this really helps when you're trying to draw things or build things. Everyone able to do that? You can zoom in and out by scrolling with 2 fingers. Don't click, just scroll. And something else that's pretty useful is that if, let's say your computer got turned like this, if you click the letter N on your keyboard, it should make it flat again. So now we're going to dimension the first eye. So you're going to click on this circle again. Actually, no, don't click on it. Just hover over it so it turns yellow. And you're going to click the line tool again. Click that once and then drag it over until you see the right angle again with the 2 stripes, and the origin is also highlighted. So when you have it like that, then you can left click and it should draw another line. All right, so now we're going to click D on your keyboard to dimension. And then you hover over the first line that you drew earlier. Click that, drag it out. And let's have everyone's be 15 millimeters. So that first blue line that you drew, it should now be dimensioned as 15 millimeters. And if you did this correctly, you can see how the top line is black now. So does everyone have this? It should be exactly this if you did it correctly. Everyone good? Okay, so now you're going to go over to the second line. So you're going to click on the dimension tool for this line. And let's make this one 18 millimeters. Yeah, okay, now everyone, if you did it properly, now you should have a fully black circle with everything in there should be black. There should be no blue. Now we're going to draw the second, actually, I think that you guys are advanced enough to know the mirror tool. So basically, the mirror tool, like this is a lot of work, drawing that circle with those lines. What if you don't want to do that? So after you've drawn it once, you see this little, it's like 2 L's at the top that says mirror. You click on that, So first, when you see how the top says select the mirror lines. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna select this line that goes through the middle of your emoji. Does everyone see that? And you're gonna click on this. And don't only click one time, because this is gonna say entities to be mirrored. And once everyone has entities to be mirrored on your screen, just stop clicking. All right, so after you have that selected, it says select entity. So basically, what do you want to mirror? You want to mirror this circle. So hover over the circle and click one time, and it should mirror it over to the other side. Everyone has this, like a smiley face with two eyes that's fully black. So even though you didn't have to do that all that extra work, you can see how the other side is already a black circle, even though you never dimensioned it. Everyone here, anyone have any questions? All right, so now we're gonna draw the mouth of the smiley face. So what you're gonna do is click on the 3-point arc that we learned earlier. And now you're gonna hover over, you see how, make sure you hover over to a point where you can see those yellow dots underneath your circle. You want it to be perfectly aligned with the middle of your circle. If you do it properly, so, oh no, don't click it though. Don't click, just select it and then hover it over until you see those yellow things, right? So if everyone does that, now you're gonna click one time. And then now you're gonna drag it over to over here. Doesn't really matter where you click on it right now. So just drag to somewhere over here that looks correct. And then now you should have this circular thing again. So you just drag it down until you like it. So like that. So does everyone have it? Yeah. Actually, you should move still with this. All right, so now what you're gonna do is, wait, does everyone have a smiley face basically? But it's blue still, so it's not finished. Does everyone have one? All right, so everyone has a smiley face, right? Anyone not have one? All right, so now we're gonna use the coincident tool that we learned earlier. So click the letter I. So you see how we want the smile to be centered on the face. So we use the coincident point to align one dot with one line. That's when you use it. So you're gonna click first on the dot with you see on the top right, there's the blue. It's highlighted for the coincident tool. And then you're gonna click the center line. And now your smiley face will be fully centered in the middle. Alrighty, so now since we want this to be black, so you're gonna, wait, does anyone still have questions about the coincident tool, putting it there? Okay, so we're gonna select the origin with the dimension tool. And then you're gonna select the bot, like the actual smile itself. And then this should let you drag out a box. We're gonna do 25 millimeters. All right, so does everyone have this? It should not be black yet, because we haven't constrained it properly. Everyone have this? So now you're gonna take your line tool again, and you're gonna draw a line from here, from the left one across. And it should not like connect to the other one because it's not properly constrained. And if you draw like that, so just draw it to be close enough. And you see how right now that blue box, the inside of it's not gray. So if you gave this to a 3D printer, since there's a hole on the side right there, it wouldn't be able to print it. So now what you're going to do is you click the coincident key again. So if you can zoom into here, it makes it easier. You see how these two are not connected. So if you zoom in and use your coincident tool, make sure you click the smiley face, the bottom part first, and then click the actual flat line, or else it's not going to work. So you click right here, and then you click right here. And now they should have connected themselves. And now if you do that properly, now the smiley face in the middle should be gray. It's no longer white. So now if you gave this to a printer, it would be able to print it out. Sketch, and then now what you're going to do is, so you remember the construction tool from earlier? If you click the letter Q and then you select this line and this line. You want to make these two construction lines since you don't actually want to print those two lines out. Yep, just double click on there. All right, so everyone, if you click check, you should have a smiley face that looks like this, and then the lines that are used for dimensioning, they should be dotted. So those ones won't actually get printed.